guys and welcome. My name is Apero. I'm a member of Team Aretuza and today I'll be running you through my top 5 cards to craft. If you've got scraps and you're wondering where to put them, what's going to get you the best value, then I've got some recommendations for you. They would be my own personal recommendations, and then I can also link you to a page where you can find plenty more in case you want to expand upon that selection. So let's not talk too long about it, let's just do it. So firstly, I'm just going to quickly explain how to craft a card. If you go into Deck Builder and just do a quick search for the card you're looking for, you should see 2 versions, one which is normal and one which is premium. Premium basically just means that it's a moving card versus a normal card or standard card, which is just a still image. They both do exactly the same thing. There's no difference in terms of their actual output or their actual effect on the game. The only difference is how pretty they look, really. So in order to craft a card, you simply right-click into that card, and then you can see here there's a craft button. So you just click on craft, say yes. You can see what the cost of the card is. We can see here Portal is 200 scraps, and then we hit yes to craft that card. It processes, and bada bing, bada boom, we have our card. So as you may have guessed, the first card I'm going to recommend you craft is Portal. Portal is an extremely versatile card. As you can see from the description, it summons a random unit with 4 provision cost from your deck on both sides. So in other words, you build into your deck at least 2 bronze units, which are worth 4 provisions each. Now, very important that you make sure these are 4 provisions and not 4 power. Yes, so provisions are the number in the bottom right corner. So you have to make sure it's 4 provisions, and as long as you have those 2 still in your deck, Portal will bring them out. You may want to have 3 or 4 bronze units with 4 provisions in your deck in order to make sure that you don't accidentally brick, that is, accidentally play Portal and you don't have any of these units in your deck, and then suddenly Portal is worth 0 points. But as long as you make sure that there are at least 2 in your deck at any given time, or when you want to play Portal, then this can provide insane value. It is extremely flexible and can be used in almost any deck. The next card I'm going to recommend you craft is called Royal Decree. Now, Royal Decree may seem extremely simple, however, it gives you a lot of benefits. So the first thing is that it's a tactic. So if you're playing a deck that works with tactics or gets benefit from tactics, then that's instantly a benefit. But its power is simply to play a unit from your deck. Now, while this sounds simple, the great thing about this is that it allows you to access any unit in your deck. Reminder, the unit is a card that has a power number attached to it. So it's not a special card or an artifact or anything like that, or a tactic for that matter, but a unit is a card that has a power attached to it. Now this means that if you have a card that you need to play in order to execute your strategy appropriately, then you absolutely can always access it if you have Royal Decree in hand. So it increases your chances of being able to execute your strategy effectively, and that's called access. So it improves access. In addition, it also improves what we call thinning. We all say thinning is winning, and the reason for that is that thinning means that we are basically pulling out more units from our deck early on in order to ensure that we only pull good units going into rounds 2 or 3. So with Royal Decree, we can pull out units from our deck, make sure that the units we have left over at the end are the ones we want, but in addition to that, it ensures we have access. So access plus thinning equals winning. We love Royal Decree. It's a very highly recommended craft. The next card I'm going to recommend you craft is called Vigos Muzzle. Now, Vigos Muzzle is really fun to play, and especially in the early days, it's one of those cards where you'll just find lots of really great ways to use it, and it feels very satisfying to play. So Vigos Muzzle is a special card. It allows you to lock one of the enemy's units and then seize it. The only stipulation is that it must have 5 or less power. So if an enemy has, for example, an engine is a unit that builds value over time, then you can lock it, that means disable it, and then you can seize it. And seize means you then bring it onto your side of the board. So let's say that they've got an engine which is 5 points and is earning 1 point per turn. If you play Vigos Muzzle early on that, you lock it at 5, seize it. Instantly that's 10 points, -5 from their side, +5 on your side, plus any value they may have gained over time by having that card. Now, if we have 10 cards, it's possible that you have just gotten 19 points of value in this play. As you learn to use it more and more, you'll find that there are different ways in which you can interrupt your opponent's strategies, and it's just extremely satisfying. So I highly recommend Vigos Muzzle, both for fun and for effectiveness. Now, I'm going to cheat just a little bit, and I'm going to recommend 2 cards, and I'm going to count it as one. And that's because they're kind of 2 sides of the same coin. Firstly, we have the card Marching Orders, and on the flip side, we have a card called Alzur's Double Cross. Now, where Marching Orders will pull the lowest unit from your deck, Alzur's Double Cross will pull the highest unit from your deck. Similarly to what I said about Royal Decree, these two both increase access to your deck and improve thinning. So where Marching Orders will pull the lowest unit, Alzur's Double Cross pulls the highest, and this is in terms of power, not provision. So the number in the top left. So by power, if you look at what's remaining in your deck, the highest unit will be pulled by Alzur's Double Cross, the lowest unit pulled by Marching Orders. It might sound like Alzur's Double Cross would therefore be the better option, but as you'll soon discover in Gwent, sometimes the lower power units actually get you way more value than the higher power units. It all depends on how you play them and how your deck works. Only you can kind of know what your strategy is or what your deck's strategy is, and then you can judge which of the two is better for your deck. But either way, these two are extremely useful cards to have in your retinue. Last but certainly not least is Shoop. Now, I know that any pro players or advanced players will be looking at me in disbelief right now saying, why would you recommend Shoop to newbies? And I'll tell you why. Because it's fun. Shoop is one of these cards that has so many different possibilities, and you can choose to play it more seriously for point value, or you can use it to kind of roll the dice on something a bit different. The other good thing about Shoop for newer players is that Shoop requires you to only have 1 copy of each card in your deck. So just to make that very clear, you cannot have 2 bronzes of any sort in your deck, or else Shoop will not work and will be a 0-point play. As newbies or as beginners, you probably have quite a few decks that are not quite complete, right? You're trying to make a meta deck, but you can't quite get there. So why not play Shoop? You know, you don't have a lot of double ups anyway. Why not have some fun, get a bit of extra power, and also just mess around a little bit? So Shoop, to explain him, he allows you to choose from 3 options. The first is Shoop Mage. You can see there are 5 different Shoop Mage abilities. I'm not going to go through them all. There are plenty of people who will. Shoop Hunter has 5 abilities, and Shoop Knight has 5 abilities. So you get to choose which one you want to play. Shoop Mage tends to be more fun, random things that could potentially hurt you as much as it hurts your opponent, but will certainly surprise you regardless. Shoop Hunter is a little bit more consistent, but can also potentially affect your side of the board. And Shoop Knight tends to be, in my opinion, the most consistent and offers you probably the most raw point value. So really, it's up to you which way you play him. I think he's lots of fun. There's so much potential to make many, many, many different decks with him, and that's why he is my pick for the 5th card that you should craft. Well, that's it. That's all there is. Those are my recommendations for the top 5 neutral cards to craft for newbies and beginners. If you do want more ideas on what to craft, do check out the Aretuza Academy website. It's linked down there in the description. I will also be making some more videos on my top 5 suggestions for many other things that newbies might be wondering. So keep an eye on my channel, hit the subscribe button, of course, and as usual, check out the Team Aretuza website for more ideas, articles, and everything you need to know. And if you want to watch me on Twitch, it's very easy. It's twitch.tv/apero_TV. I always announce my streams on Twitter, so check it out there. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye.